It's Mr. Truck.
Mr. Truck here at Vegas 2013. I'm here at the Xp3 booth talking to Mark Springer. This is the guy, A&E Shipping Wars. So, you know, he's everybody's favorite on that show. So he's here to talk about his experience with Xp3. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. First of all, it's a real pleasure to meet you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I'm enjoying getting a chance to talk with you, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of your stories. But first, I'd like to tell you about my experience with Xp3 and kind of how I got involved in it. I met some folks that I trust. You know, they're Canadians, and when I'm up there trucking, I talk to them about different things that are going on up there, and they mentioned this fuel additive to me. Asked me if I purchase a fuel additive. I said, well, yeah, of course I do. You know, if you don't, you're missing out on something here. And they said, well, what do you use? And I told them, and they said, well, have you ever heard of this? And I go, no. And so they explained to me some of the benefits of it, and asked me if I'd be interested in maybe supporting it. And I said, well, not unless I'm using it.
Yeah.
I got to know a little more about it. So they offered up to give me some, and I went ahead and put this into my fuel tanks and started running down the highway between Winnipeg and Fargo, basically. And I'm driving along, and I'm realizing that the sounds that I typically hear, because I'm in this, I'm sitting on my engine every day, I hear it, I know it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I realize that, I look at my gauges, and my speedometer says 80 miles an hour. Well, I don't drive 80 miles an hour. I drive, 70 or 75 where it's legal.
Right.
But my truck sound and the RPM range was typically where I would be at 70. And I'm kind of going, why am I going so much faster? Why is my vehicle working so much less to attain the same speed and the same performance? So I called them up and asked them about it. I was skeptical,
Yeah.
They said that's a possibility. Typically, it would take maybe a few bottles through your system to, clean out the engine and get rid of some of the impurities and things, but it's possible that it could have happened that fast. So at that point, I kind of went, wow, this is interesting, and I continued to use it. And I've noticed some fuel savings, which I was pretty excited about. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that, somewhere between a quarter to a half a mile to a gallon. And I don't have exact numbers on that, but it was better.
Yeah.
It's just, I know I was getting better mileage because I track all my mileage. But I'm pretty pleased with it.
Well, that's great. The bigger trucks getting 5% is like a monumental. I mean, maybe half a mile to gallon or a mile to gallon. I know it's big.
Yeah.
Even that way with one-ton pickups,
Sure.
The Detroit fights over 1 mile to the gallon.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I got some people in Canada I trust, too. And I know there's some rough roads up there. I got some people in the logging country that I work with. And, you got a lot more condensation, a lot more ice in the tanks and all that. I've got problems in Colorado. In the wintertime. It's bad.
And I'm going to continue to use it. Experience with Xp3 was impressive enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to support this.
Well, that's good. I mean, gives you more horsepower, gives you more miles to the gallon.
Exactly. I mean, with the amount of miles that I drive in a month, that adds up to I'm putting $700 every 2 days through my fuel tanks.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that on the big rigs, what it costs for tires and fuel. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Tires
get wrapped up.
5 cents a mile. 5 cents a mile. Think about, okay, let's say you're in your pickup, and every mile at the end of each day, times that by 5 and put it in a jar.
Yeah.
Show me what you got at the end of the year.
Yeah, you get over 10 grand in a set of tires.
That's
a lot of money. Man,
right.
Oh man.
I'm running an engine that's a little different than some of the newer trucks at this point. It's getting to where I'm going to be changing it soon. Yeah. But I take really good care of it for that reason.
Yeah.
It puts out a lot of power. It is a fuel efficient engine to begin with. And I want to keep this thing as long as I can and take as good a care of it as I can. This, I'm hoping, is going to do that for me.
Well, that's good, and that's what you see too with truckers. Is they, that's their livelihood. Those trucks, they get babied a lot. They get taken care of the right way and maintained the right way.
You bet.
And that's the only way you can survive in this business. Well, thanks, Mark. We'll see you on TV.
I'll look forward to seeing you.
Thanks.
You bet, huh?
We are at the 2013 SEMA, and I'm talking to Mike Schlegel of Xp3. It's a fuel additive. You know, we've heard a lot about fuel additives over the years. Back in the recession, everybody in the world was calling me, telling me it's some magic formula to get you 10% better fuel. Back when fuel spiked, you know, in 2008. And so everybody's gotten in the business. This one actually has been around since '89. So it's been a secret, and we're going to tell you about it now. There's so many things that this does, and they got diesel and gas, and it's about improving everything, about improving, you know, fuel mileage. What do you think your customers, what have you heard from your customers?
Mileage is a side benefit. Really, the product is the only multifunctional fuel enhancer in the world. So mileage is really the best part about it, is it pays you to use our product, but we really solve a lot of issues.
Right, I understand.
And on the bottom side, the lowest we ever see is 4.5%.
Okay.
And then the longer people use it, the more that percentage seems to increase.
Okay.
Once it cleans up that engine.
Yeah. And that, you know, that's for semis, that's for cars, that's for farm tractors, everything improves all that.
Exactly.
And another problem I have going around the country to these horse shows is in the middle of winter, I could be in Florida, I could be in California, Texas, and go back to Wyoming, and you never know what's going to be in the fuel. I mean, it's, you know, sometimes they mix the right amount of number one with a number two, and sometimes they don't. And this will solve that problem with the gelling, since the ultra low sulfur is not many paraffin wax or sulfur in it. So does this really help with the gelling issues too?
It's going to give you an extra 25 degrees of protection against gelling into whatever fuel you put it into.
Okay.
So you could run a straight number 2. We're seeing down to 20 below, no issue.
Well, that's great. That's a big benefit. So you can, you know, not worry about which state you're fueling up your truck in. Now, too, you know, another big problem right now that we're all talking about is diesel exhaust fluid through your DPF filter, your diesel particulate filter, and these new modern diesels, whether it's a tractor or a semi or a pickup truck or your Beamer SUV, that's been a problem. And those things, they plug up and you have to regenerate them. And sometimes you regenerate them going up a hill, you regenerate them at the wrong time. Now this will actually, because what I've seen with your demonstrations, it takes a lot of the soot out, the unburned up fuel, and it, you know, cleans up the injectors and all that. So actually you don't regenerate as often.
That's correct. What happens, we get a 40 to 60% reduction in emissions pre-DPF filter. So your EGR valve is going to last longer, your DPF filters do not need to be cleaned as frequently running our product.
Well, that's great. So your DPF doesn't plug up, and a lot of vehicles, the EGR cooler is what plugs up first.
Right, first.
I've replaced many of those, so I know how that is. So it does all those things, and actually it gives you a little more horsepower and torque.
Well, what it does, it cleans up the engine. So you get clean injectors, you get better atomization, you get more complete combustion instantaneously in the combustion cycle when you want it, so you don't have fuel burning through the whole combustion stroke and still burning while it's going out through the exhaust, which is unburned fuel and extra emissions. So we're going to get instantaneous burn combustion, so you get more power, less fuel.
So you'd even have less smoke if you had one of those trucks that smoke, which I think is good because, you know, a smoking diesel, they're fun to go out there and let them happen, but it gives, you know, diesel engines a bad vibe to the public. They think we're a bunch of polluters, and we're not. We've got a lot of very clean diesels, which I like. Water and the fuel. In Colorado, in your tank, top of your tank always condenses with water. It's dripping in there constantly. So that's a constant problem, and I know a lot of the diesel manufacturers keep it bigger and bigger, you know, water filters, and you need to drain them quite often to get the water out. And your product helps get the water out.
Our product actually takes the water and makes it become part of the fuel, makes it one homogeneous solution, and it helps you burn the water. But more importantly, we don't just take the water out. The key is to put lubrication in with that to overcompensate for what the water reaction does with metal. So water will create more wear on the engine. So it's not just taking the water and putting it into the fuel, it's putting extra lubrication there, and by doing so we're reducing engine wear over 50%. If you do used oil analysis, you'll find over 50% reduction of heavy metals in used oil. So we're going to increase the life of the engine.
Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's, so they're actually burning water, which, you know, that's, what else can you do? You get it out of there. You can't help, you know, a better solution than that.
That's right.
We're going to do some demonstrations next, I think, and to show just what it does, and yours versus some other products.
We have a product here that Xp3, basically I always ask questions on guys that are running diesel or gas because we have both sides. Basically I always ask questions like, are they running any additives now? Yes or no. Some aren't, which is great. And I say, you know what, if some are, I said it's great. I show them what we got. All I'm doing is comparing apples to apples here. That's all I'm doing. I'm not saying nothing's bad. I'm just saying I'm just comparing apples to apples. That's all I'm doing. So I got product A here, which I'm going to do a quick burn test for you guys and show you how it actually cleans and burns and everything. So I'll do product A here. So I'll do that. Then of course I'm going to take product B here and do the same thing. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting in here, I'm doing everything equal to equal so someone can't say I didn't do anything different. Okay? So here's our product, XP3. There's a lot of things this does, 10 to 12 things. I'm going to hit a lot of them while I'm doing the demo, so I'll show you what we do here. So I'm going to pour some XP3 into torpedo 2. So what I always tell people, you know, we're going to do a burn test. One of the benefits our product does is we burn cleaner, and we pollute 60% less. So this is product A basically. So you can
see the smoke on top.
Yeah, you can see the pollution coming off. That's no good, you know. So
that would be soot. That would be a lot of different things.
Correct. So basically, here's product B. Does the same thing. So I always tell people, you know, that's $100 bills going out the exhaust. Okay. So here's our product XP3 now. See how clean that burns? Yeah. Look how clean that burns, okay? So I always tell people, owner-operators or customers, whatever, what's more efficient? A dirty motor or a clean motor? So, people always say a clean motor, okay? So what we'll do next is, we got hot, cold, sweat. One of our benefits of our product too is an anti-gel, anti-algae. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to take some water. I got water right here. What I'm going to do, equal to equal, I'm going to put 2 ml of water in product A. You can see already what happens.
The water is hanging out the bottom.
Correct. Okay, so that's on product A. Of course, I'm going to do product B now. So here's product B, basically.
Water went right through it.
Yep. Now here's XP3. Here's the start of the show. I always tell people this is what it does. It's just amazing what it does. So I'm going to put some water in there.
Yeah, you see it mixing right with the water.
Yep. So basically, you can see how it actually goes down. It's actually working. It keeps working. You can just see it. It's just amazing how it's working here, okay?
So once it mixes with that water, then it can burn the water.
Correct. It turns into one solution. So it turns into burnable. We turn water into burnable fuel, basically. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm from Minnesota, because we get cold up there, and we got potholes and speed bumps, I'm just going to give it a quick tip on each product. So I do everything equal to equal, so everything mixes in, basically. And I'll take the XP3 and I'll do the same thing. Okay. So what I'll do next now is, when you let your vehicle sit overnight, you know, everybody lets your vehicle sit, where's the water go? It goes to the bottom of the tank, which I think everybody will agree with. When we got hot, cold sweat. Okay. So every time we fire up in the morning on a semi or a car or whatever, you'll see here. See the sizzle? That's an injector trying to burn the water and stuff like that. That's not good, and that won't even light. Okay? So we lube the top end of the motor 25%. So that's why we extend the life of the motor. You can see.
Yeah, you hear the sizzle, you see the sparks.
Yeah, 4th of July. Okay?
Water, a little bit of water mixed with the fuel, and the other additives and everything.
Correct. So now here's XP3. Here's the start of the show again. You don't see any 4th of July, do you?
No, there's no sparks, there's nothing there.
And that's lit.
Wow, so it's burning. It's totally got the water wrapped in the molecules and it's just burning.
Sure. Well, I'm going to go one step farther now. I don't know if anybody's heard, but Color Cut. Color Cut is a water-finding paste. Okay? If it finds water, it'll turn red. If it doesn't find water, it'll stay gold all day long. So what color did that turn?
Yeah, it's a thermometer. It turned red.
Isn't it? Isn't that something?
It's at the bottom of that water cooler.
Correct. So remember, if it finds water, it'll turn red. If it doesn't find water, it'll stay gold all day.
Yep, we got 2 reds.
Okay. Now we go back to the XP3. Like I said, XP3 is amazing. It's the star of the show. And that'll stay gold all day long. Yep. One thing about our product, about the XP3, I guess there's another thing it does. It stabilizes the fuel every 6 months. All you got to move the fuel every 6 months. So it's a stabilizer. It's an anti-gel, anti-algae. It disperses water. It cleans the motor, top of the motor, extends the life motor 25%. I'm not going to hit them all, but I hit a lot of them. What's everybody's concern? Everybody has a different reason why they're running an additive or not running an additive. So it does a lot of things. It gives you more power. Everybody loves power, you know. So
what's similar to even what a power chip does?
Correct.
You get more horsepower, more torque.
Correct.
Or, you know, turbo spool, you'll get a higher spool.
Yep. Yep.
It's made mighty to help your legs. That's good. The extra power, the
Yep.
economy, you got it all.
So what we have here is, I'm going to do a quick demo on this real quick. We've got straight number 2 diesel, because a lot of guys ain't running additives, which is great, you know. So I got straight number 2 here, so I always tell people we should be running an additive now, because they took the sulfur out of the diesel. Everybody wants the lubrication. Ours lubes the top end of the motor. Lubrication is huge for owner-operators or anybody running a diesel, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a quick burn test on straight number 2 diesel now. That's all I got is a straight number 2 diesel. You can see the soot burning.
That's full soot.
Yep.
Smoking up.
I always tell people that's $100 bills going up. So would you want to put the $100 bills back into your pocket, or do you want to keep burning them up? So here's number 2 diesel in XP3 now.
That's number 2 diesel with the XP3.
Correct.
That's more than cleaner.
So I always tell people, again, let's go back to this phase. What's more efficient, a dirty motor, clean motor? All day. So what I'll do next for you, I'll do just a demo on, real quick, I'm going to do a demo on the XP3 diesel and water. So everybody can see what it actually does, because like I said, it's just do it live. So, because we got moisture, hot, cold, one from Minnesota, so people, you know, they love us in the wintertime because of the gelling. So I'm going to do another demo real quick. I got straight number 2 diesel in here. So I'll do a quick burn test again, just to show everybody it's straight number 2 diesel. And you see the black soot coming up.
Yes.
Okay. So that's straight number 2 diesel. Of course, I'm going to put some water in there now, because we got hot, cold sweat. So basically I put water in there in the diesel, so you can already see there
Let me look at that. Look at the water.
is at the bottom of the straight number 2 diesel.
See the water at the bottom.
Correct. So basically what I'll do is I'll do this again, do another burn test, because basically you let your vehicle sit. Isn't that something? 4th of July, I think. Isn't that 4th of July? So basically what I'm going to do is put some XP3 in there now. You can see how it actually is working. Another burn test for you. You can see how it actually it's working. It's just like little molecules.
Stop sizzling. Lost the smoke.
We got some. We're not 100%, but we got some. So, and that's what we got. So basically what I got over here too is we got diesel. I'm sorry, this is the diesel side of the deal. We got our gas product too. We got product A and we got product B. Basically we got gas and diesel. So I always tell people gas stays with gas because people run gas too. We just don't have diesel. We're helping on both sides.
Right.
And that's what we're doing. Is we're helping people put the savings back into their pocket and have a cleaner running motor, extend the life of the motor 25%. So we're out here to help people and show them what we got going on.
Yeah.
Product B with water. There's XP3 and water. And then we got product A again with water. So, you know.
That's without XP3.
That's without XP3. That's straight number 2. Here's XP3 and number 2 diesel.
Yep, that's pretty clean.
So